So today I'm going to be talking about this palette. This is the Moroccan Magic Eyeshadow Palette by Ulta Beauty. Their Ulta Beauty brand, so it's kind of like the Sephora brand at Sephora. It's their, their house brand. So I picked this up because I saw it in the new arrival section of Ulta, which I basically like stock the new arrival section. By the way, if you can hear something in the background, that's my cat. She's having fun. I bought this because I thought the color selection was really pretty. And I remember I used to buy Ulta eyeshadows when I first started getting into makeup. And I actually still have a couple of single Ulta shadows, and I used to really like them. And it's been like forever since I've used an Ulta eyeshadow. So I thought, I like this color scheme. This palette's pretty affordable. It's $20. I thought it looked pretty. I'm like, oh, I'll just drop it into my cart, buy it, see how it goes. So obviously the first thing you want to consider with any palette is the shade selection. And as I said, I think it's got a really nice shade selection. You can do probably quite a few different looks with this palette, and you have a pretty good balance of mattes and shimmers. You have 6 of each, which I really like because I'm always annoyed if a palette only has like 2 matte shades. I really, you have to have, in my opinion, you have to have a couple of transition shades, a deeper shade. I like to have kind of a bone colored shade or a white shade to set my eyeshadow primer. So for me, in terms of shade selection, this is a really complete palette. I really like that. I do think, as I said, you can get a lot of different looks out of this. You can get some neutral looks. I'm wearing, as you can see, I'm wearing a kind of gold toned look on my lids today. I did get this look with this palette. So you can get some very everyday looks, some very neutral looks out of this palette, and also some brighter, more eye-catching looks with some of these more purpley shades. So I think that's, it's a very versatile palette. So in terms of the actual formula, I have to say I'm not in love with this palette. It's unfortunate. So the matte shades, they don't blend super well. They're kind of dry, just a little bit chalky. I mean, they have pigment. They're a little bit difficult to blend. They're a little patchy when you try to blend them out. And if you blend them too much, they can just end up looking kind of muddy on the eyes, if you know what I mean. However, you can work with them, as I said. The shimmer shades have some fallout. This shade in particular, which I'm wearing on my lid today, it's called Palace. It has a lot of fallout. I actually struggled with it a little bit today because I had glitter all over my face. Which maybe you want glitter all over your face. I'm like, that's cool. No hate. However, the shimmer shades are pretty pigmented, and they do apply pretty opaquely, so that's good. There's just a little bit of fallout. And a lot of people don't care about fallout, so that's just, things to keep in mind. And you can definitely work with these shades. I mean, it's not like you can't get a look out of this palette. It just takes a little more blending, a little more, just working with the shadows to get the look you want. I have to say I'm not in love with the look I created with this palette today, but I did do a pretty nice one with this palette yesterday, so it just depends on if you want to put in the work and the extra effort to make them work. So, overall this is a pretty decent formula. It's a pretty decent palette. So the problem I have with this palette is $20, and this palette by ColourPop is $18, and it has the same number of shades, and in my opinion the formula is significantly better. Much easier to blend, much creamier. Pigmentation's about the same, but it's just much easier to work with these shadows, in my opinion. I mean, 1 or 2 in this palette have a little bit of fallout. One or 2 shades in this palette are a little bit difficult to work with. They have a lot of fallout. You have to build them up. In terms of overall quality, I just think these shadows are better. And the whole palette is $2 cheaper, and they have the same amount of shades. Packaging is pretty similar. These are both cardboard. They're, about the same size. They're about the same level of sturdiness. So if you're thinking about buying this palette, I might recommend you look at the ColourPop palettes and see if there's a ColourPop palette that you would like instead. I mean, you're not going to get the same color, the exact same color scheme with a ColourPop palette as this palette because, you know, they're different, right? However, if you have a large makeup collection, you probably have all of the shades in this palette somewhere. So it just kind of depends on your collection. If you're looking for this exact color scheme, you're like, yes, I love every color in this palette. These are the colors I need. Then I would say, yeah, you can definitely get this palette. For me, I have a lot of these colors in other palettes. And I just don't know that it's worth it for me, personally. The other thing is this $18 ColourPop palette has a mirror, and this palette does not. So personally, I don't really use the mirrors in palettes, but if it's something that you care about, you're paying $2 more for this palette and you're not getting a mirror. So that's kind of unfortunate. So bottom line, I think I would only recommend this palette if you really are in love with this color scheme. It is affordable, but there are other more affordable palettes out there that are cheaper. The only problem with buying something from ColourPop is that it is a little harder to get your hands on ColourPop products. You have to buy most of the ColourPop products from their website. You have to pay for shipping sometimes. The nice thing about this is you can probably buy it in stores. I ordered it online, but I think you can buy it in Ulta stores, and Ulta is a little more accessible to most people, so there is that. However, for me, I just think that I'm probably going to end up returning this palette because the quality, I just don't think the quality is worth the price considering the other things I have in my collection. But, you know, it's kind of unfortunate because it does have very pretty packaging. It does have a very nice shade selection. So I'll just, you know, try a couple more looks, you know, see what I think about it, but I might end up returning it. So that's kind of, you know, my thoughts about the formula of this palette, but I want to do some live swatches now so you can see these colors kind of in action and see how they perform on skin. Okay, so here's what the palette looks like close up, and now I'm going to do some swatches for you. So the first shade is Tea Time. Here's Tea Time. It's kind of a sparkly white. Next shade is Atlas. It's very similar to my skin tones. You can't see it very well, but it's kind of bone color. The next shade is Palace. This is what I'm wearing on my lid today. Sparkly gold. The next shade is Camel. And the next shade is Argan. That's Argan. Next we have Saffron. That one is vibrant. And the next one is Medina, kind of mauve toned. Next we have Festival. Now we have Stargaze, very nice silver. And now we have Sahara, or Sahara. Now we have Marrakesh. And last we have Casablanca. So hopefully these, like the live swatches and the review were helpful to you if you're thinking about picking up this palette. I don't think it's bad, I just think there are better palettes out there for a similar price, and you know, it might not be worth it for you, or you know, it might be worth it depending on your preferences and you know what you're looking for. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful to you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.